Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to create this fresh, girly, flirty look. Very simple to do on my beautiful client. Let's get started. So, actually I should say model, not client. She was definitely a model for this. So I'm first going to be just cleaning off her skin. She did say she had some leftover concealer and mascara, so I'm just using Bioderma. I'm then going to be taking some moisturizer. I like to assess the skin first. I felt a little bit of some dry spots around her face, so I'm just taking a lightweight moisturizer and applying this all over generously. I'm then taking the Nivea Men Aftershave Balm, and I'm also going to be applying this over on top to create a nice tacky surface for when we apply her foundation. Everything's going to stick and last so much longer. I love to use my hands for all the skin prepping because I get to really feel the skin and feel what I'm working with. I'm then going to be taking a light eye cream. I'm placing that directly underneath her eyes and orbital bone. I'm then taking Benefit's Porefessional and smoothing this just on the center of her face where she may have some uneven texture or some larger pores, which she hardly had, which is why I'm only placing this on the center of the face. I'm then going to be taking Kevyn Aucoin's Celestial Liquid Lighting Fluid, which is just like a luminizer that I like to apply beforehand, before foundation, just to give the skin a really nice glow. This I am applying with a foundation brush because it does leave a light shimmer and I didn't want that on my fingertips, so that's why I'm using a brush. For foundation, I am using a very dense foundation brush. I am taking the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. I'm using the shade 06 Sand Beige on my model. It's just slightly darker than her natural skin tone, which you can tell from her neck and décolleté, because I am going to be doing a lot of highlighting as well and brightening up. So this was just a very neutral tone to work with. I'm applying in stippling motions all across her face, making sure I get a nice even coverage. I actually did spray my brush with some MAC Fix Plus beforehand just to keep the finish more on the dewy, fresh side. I'm then going to be taking Tarte's Color Correcting Wipeout Palette. I'm using the shade 5, which has more of a salmon pink tone, to neutralize the red purplish tones underneath her eyes. I'm then taking Maybelline's Fit Me Concealer. I believe this is the shade in medium, and I'm going to be blending this out with a Real Techniques foundation brush, blending it out in an upside down triangle shape just so we can brighten up and conceal any extra redness around her nose or the center of her face as well. This brush makes it really effortless and easy to blend out. For highlighting and contouring, I am taking the Anastasia Cream Contour Kit in the medium shades. I'm using the shade Cream to highlight the center of her face and forehead. I am using a damp Real Techniques sponge to do this. I really wanted to keep the center of her face bright, so I'm actually going to be taking this highlight cream or highlight shade all across from the side of her cheekbone to the other side, all across her nose. So really the whole center of her face is going to be very bright, and just ever so slightly tapping any excess onto her chin area. For contouring, I'm going to be starting off with a nose contour. I'm also working from that same cream contour kit. I'm using the shade Chocolate to start the nose contour with a very small brush. It has more of a flat shape to it, but it's still very fluffy. So again, it blends out everything effortlessly. I'm first applying it on the sides and using the side of the brush to blend it out, and then creating a visual break across the tip of her nose, just so it doesn't appear like her nose is running on for a long time, because her nose doesn't, but when you do the two contour shades on the sides, it can appear to do so, so the visual break helps. I'm then placing some more of this contour shade along her lip line for a fuller look. For the cheek contour, I'm taking an e.l.f. stippling brush, and I'm first going to be placing the shade Ash Brown from the top of her ear all the way down, aiming towards the corner of her mouth but not connecting, just aiming it, and then using small circular motions and really utilizing the side of my brush to push the product and blend it upwards. You do not want to go downwards. You'll be defeating the purpose of this cheek contour. Whatever's left on the brush, I'm just going to slightly brush across her jawbone. I don't like to put any excess product because she already has a really nice defined jaw. I first blended out any crease lines underneath her eyes before baking. I'm applying this with the same sponge we used to blend out her highlight and contour. and I'm using the Ben Nye Luxury Powder in the shade Banana all over the highlighted areas and whatever excess I have to just kind of redefine and sharpen up underneath the contour. For the brows, I am first brushing through them, and I'm using the Anastasia brow powders. I'm taking the shade Ebony with her number 12 brush. I first like to line the top of the eyebrow's tail, then the bottom, and then fill in that in-between area. I'm then going to be going in the natural direction of her hair growth and start to line the bottom of her brow, and without any additional product being picked up, once I do that baseline, I'm going to be pressing my brush flat against her skin or her eyebrow and just pushing up that product, again, not picking up any excess product, to create that gradual fade from light to dark. I'm then going to be taking a full coverage concealer and just an angle brush and really cleaning up the underside of her brow and just a little bit on the top. She had some brow growth on the top, so this just creates it's a little cheat sheet in case you're in between waxes, you know what I'm saying? Then for the eyeshadow, I am taking the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, my favorite. I use it on everybody, everything, everyone, you know what I'm saying? And I'm taking this with a large fluff brush and applying this generously all over the entire eyelid, anywhere we're going to be placing shadow. I'm then taking a neutral matte shade and with a large fluff brush also just placing this all over the entire eyelid to set that primer and to make things a lot smoother on the surface. I'm going to be taking a fluffy brush and using a very neutral medium tone shadow. Again, this is matte, and I'm pressing this on the outer V of the eye, and I'm going to be pressing this and blending this into the crease just to really define her crease. She has some really great eyelid space, so we're really going to be utilizing the space she has on the outer corner to accentuate her eye shape and elongate the eye. I'm just going to be going back and doing this as many times to your desired depth of color that you want. I'm then be picking up a slightly darker shade just to define it even more. Now it looks like her eye socket sinks in a little bit more. I'm then picking up a matte dark brown shade with a small pencil brush and just applying this on the outer V, and then using that other side again with the fluffy side to just blend this all out. Blending is key, and a real hair brush like this pretty much does all the blending for you, so you don't have to think so much about it. I'm just making the beginning of the ball of her eye tacky again with whatever leftover primer we have on that brush, and then taking a metallic shade that has a little bit of a bronzy tone to it and a flat shader brush. I'm going to be pressing and sliding this down on the ball of her eye and blending it into the inner C and outer V as well. Look how pretty it shines. I just think that this looks so fresh, and it just really opens up the eye, and it looks so beautiful when her eyes are closed. I'm then taking Becca's Champagne Pop and just placing this in the inner tear duct, and I'm also going to be placing this on the brow bone just to highlight and lift the brow, and again, just open up that eye area. I'm then going to be blending away all of the excess powder from the baking that we did, and it leaves a nice flawless finish. Then for the eyeliner. So with eyeliner, I like to start from the center of the eye and just really utilizing the tip of my brush to create that straight line from the inner tear duct all the way to the outer end of her eye, not creating a wing just yet. I like to do this just to kind of give us like a starting ground of how thick I want the eyeliner to be across her lid first. Then with her eyes open, looking straight ahead, I'm going to be mapping out the baseline of my wing. And then I'm going to be connecting the very tip of that to the rest of her eyeliner, just connecting it so it looks like a nice straight line all the way across. I do not play with eyeliner. I take it very seriously because it can just really make or break a look. And come on, you guys, it's black eyeliner. You know, once you mess up, it can get a little rocky. So you really want to keep this clean and easy. This technique works best for me. And look, now she has these beautiful cat eyes. Then I'm going to be taking the Anastasia contour powder or highlight powder in Banana and pressing this all over the highlighted areas. Then bronzing up her skin tone with Graftobian's bronzer in medium, just across her cheeks, a little bit, ever so slightly on the jaw and hairline. Her forehead is not broad whatsoever, so just adding a little bit of warmth, not really for contouring at all, and across the tip of her nose as well. With a Luxie angle brush, I am taking the Anastasia contour shade in Java and just redefining that contour, really deepening up towards the back part of the contour where it's the most hollow of her cheek. And doing the same thing with the nose contour with the same contour shade, just really pressing and blending out that contour. I'm then taking Becca's Champagne Pop again and highlighting the Cupid's bow and the bridge of the nose as well. And then with a fan brush, I'm going to be just dusting this across the tops of her cheekbones. Love, love Champagne Pop for skin tones that are of more of a tan to deeper shade. It just looks so gorgeous. For blush, I'm taking a large blush brush using Bobbi Brown's Coral Blush, and I like to stamp. As you can see, I'm not really swiping back and forth. I like to stamp the blush from apple to temple. I'm then be taking some clear brow gel just to set those puppies in place. And then with a flat definer brush, I'm going to be taking a little bit of some matte black shadow, very little as you can tell, and just pressing this up against the root of her lashes before layering over on top Fudge from the Anastasia it's the Shadow Couture palette. And then blending this all out with a pencil brush to create that slightly smoky effect. I'm then be coating her eyelashes with a disposable mascara wand, top and bottom, just to darken them up before we apply any falsies. Before we do the falsies though, I'm going to be just brightening up her inner waterline with NARS Rue Bonaparte eyeliner. Disinfect it with alcohol afterwards if you're not using this on yourself. And then placing on Ardell Wispies, which are my favorite lashes. They just look so natural. I like to anchor the center first and then anchor the beginning corner or outer corner, vice versa, whichever works best for you, just to get a really good placement. And then covering up that band with any excess gel liner. If you have your top and bottom lashes sticking, a little curved tweezer can really help. As you can see, I kind of unstuck them. For the lips, we're doing a little bit of a lip combo. I'm taking ColourPop's Clueless Ultra Matte liquid lipstick on the outer edges and then placing Trap on the center and then using a fluffy eyeshadow brush to blend this in. This is the easiest way to get a nice ombre lip. Trust me, it takes all the guesswork. Not guesswork, but all the work out of it as far as getting that perfect blend. I'm then going to be placing or doing the exact same thing on the top lip before placing on Anastasia Beverly Hills Lip Gloss in Gilded, which is my favorite lip gloss to top off any lip color. It just makes your lips look so juicy and just so like baba boom. Then spraying her down with some Fix Plus. Any setting spray of your choice will work. And this is the completed look. Isn't she gorgeous? Absolutely love this look. It's very fresh. It's very appropriate for spring. It's very age appropriate for prom. So let me know what you guys think down below. I hope to do more of these very, very soon. They are my favorite to do. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. And if you have any requests for client videos. Bye guys.